A desperate search is underway for a woman who went missing in West Hollywood. Dahlia Taquali was last seen yesterday around 5 p.m. on North Genesee Avenue near Santa Monica Boulevard.
What you need, make sure you're trouble-free, cause you're just like me. So everyone could see what I know that you could be. I don't wanna lock you down, I just wanna set you free.
Welcome to BJ Investigates, a show I just created and might never do again. You know that the most searched thing when you type in Yevremovich on Google, it says Yevremovich twins? Ivan is livid. Anyway, where we last left off, we were all wondering where Dahlia and Dia were. And I actually have some major updates for the story, but TLDR, I still don't know where they are exactly. So first of all, let's rewind all the way back to 1 year ago, 2021. As we mentioned in the last video, Dahlia actually went missing around this exact same area. And if you look at the missing persons report that was posted in December 2021, you will see that they also listed that exact same area of Los Angeles as Bleep Avenue on the YouTube video. Then, as you know, she was found and, they recovered her from wherever she was heading. Now, I did do a little bit of investigation into the area where they said in the news that Dahlia was alleged to be going. There is a bus station very close to the area that she was alleged to have been running to, so I can't help but speculate. Was she trying to get on a bus and run away? I really don't know. It's all speculation at this point. The only thing we could really identify from before 2019 was a couple Instagram posts on the twins' Instagram, and one of them from 2018 said that Lima was going to be in charge of the twins' social media. So as far as the public is concerned, and as far as Dahlia and Dia's Instagram followers are concerned, Lima has been in charge of their Instagram for the past 5 or 6 years. But before 2018, we really don't see very much from the twins other than their YouTube channel. Whenever I went to look and investigate into them as actual living human people, I didn't find very much. We found a couple other newspaper clippings that would indicate that Dahlia and Dia were on the track or cross-country teams in a school in Oklahoma, but that's basically all we found. Oh, one other thing we found was that they were listed on a nonprofit organization called Mizzou Earth Revolution, and that was a Canadian nonprofit. So not only are they listed as officers on this Mizzou Earth Revolution company, lo and behold, guess who's going to be listed there with them? Lima Taquali. Okay, so yeah, I don't know. I don't know what that's about. A lot of y'all have been commenting for me to look into this organization, and unfortunately, I just don't have as much insight into how to research into the Canadian nonprofit system as I do into the United States nonprofit system. But if anybody has any insight into that, leave it in the comments below. I have no problem making a part. What would this be for? Yeah, very interestingly, one of the newspaper articles that we found is in a periodical called Twin Peaks, Peeks, like peeking at twins. I don't know, very weird. But the twins are featured in the twins.
The twins are peeking.
We were peeking, they were peeking. So the twins are actually featured in this periodical called Twin Peaks. Maybe it's like a segment in a newspaper called Twin Peaks. They're doing something physical in the picture. Very hashtag is this fetish content, not really sure. I remember reading somewhere that the high school that they went to in the Tulsa, Oklahoma area had 27 sets of twins in attendance. So I went to a school that had like 75 people in the graduating class, so it's hard for me to imagine there being that many twins. I think we did have 2 sets of twins in our class. But maybe they went to a high school that had thousands and thousands and thousands of students at it, which would be like, okay, cool, there's a lot of people there, so necessarily there might be a lot of twins. If that's not the case, it does just beg the question, how did so many damn twins end up at this school, and why are they all congregating at this place? I really have no idea. Just as always, it leaves me with a lot more questions than answers every time I start looking into this story. One of them went missing.
A desperate search is underway for a woman who went missing in West Hollywood. Dahlia Taquali was last seen yesterday around 5 p.m. on North Genesee Avenue near Santa Monica Boulevard. She's 30 years old, and the sheriff's department says she is developmentally disabled. They think she could be heading to the area of Sunset Boulevard and Curson Avenue. Taquali's family is very concerned for her well-being and is asking for your help. If you see her, you're asked to call the LA County Sheriff's Department.
We know from 2018, Lima took control of their Instagram account. We know they had a YouTube channel. They did a couple collaborations with people we would have heard of, but there's not a whole lot else other than that to go on until Dandelion comes into the picture. Now, the whole Dandelion saga is one of the darkest, most concerning, troubling aspects of the entire Lima Amanda Bam twins timeline. On February 25th, 2022, earlier this year, the same exact month that I became aware of the Bam Margera guardianship and that Lima was his guardian, this YouTube channel starts posting videos, and it's called Dandy-all caps Lion. This was the first video that would be posted in a series of videos on this channel, and they all sort of start the same way. I mentioned this a little bit briefly in the last video we made on this topic, but I can't describe the feelings that I felt in my heart and soul and my intuition in any other way other than just troubling when I looked at these videos. It is really alarming, and I would encourage you to look at that channel at your own risk. One of the twins, who I think is Dahlia, but I'm really not 100% sure, she's yelling or speaking at a virtual assistant to play a certain song.
Alexa, previous song.
Here's what you recently played.
Okay, do this one.
Or she's just kind of quietly muttering to herself.
I'm not going to give away any of their names because I want to give away too much because I know that everybody's obsessed with stealing their shit these days. But I don't really care. I'm just talking to myself and playing piano like the worst that I've ever sucked. But I don't really care because I'm like, whatever. So let's just go with the flow and stop talking at this point. No more secrets given away tonight.
Then she begins playing notes on a keyboard, but it's not like really any playing that, I don't know, I like art is art, but I don't know. It's not like a song that you would be familiar with. But she does say like, oh, I'm going to play Living La Vida Loca, or like, I'm going to play something from Breaking Benjamin. And then she's banging on this keyboard, which like, I don't know, like art mirrors life, as they say, and life mirrors art. So I can only imagine what must be going through the poor girl's life and mind to be creating art that looks and sounds like that. I mean, discordant is a nice way to put it. But it does make me very concerned for her whenever I watch these videos, because if you look around the room, it's squalor. It's not looking like a place that's a harmonious, healing environment for somebody who might need to be recovering from a serious mental health condition, if you know what I mean. So she normally also shares some form of poetry while she plays, and in one of them she even says, see, anybody can make shit up.
Anybody can make it up.
Which we included in our last video. So yeah, like I said, let's just examine this environment, if you will. Just humor me, let's examine the environment. As you can see, there's stuff all over the walls. It seems a little dark in there. It seems messy, and it seems like she's alone in the room. Doesn't seem like anybody's in there with her. I don't know how anybody could be in there with her without yelling like, girl, you need to stop with all that racket. I mean, that's definitely what I would have said, but that's neither here nor there. Comment below what you think it could mean, somebody living in them type of conditions. Like, also, it does seem like there's just one twin there. You don't ever see two of them on camera at the same time. Again, I think this one's Dahlia, just because Dahlia also has an Instagram account that we're gonna get into. Now, she begins playing with her feet in some videos, which don't really know what that is exactly about. And these videos go on forever and ever. Like, I have not successfully made it through an entire one of them, which I wish I could, because maybe she's saying stuff, she stops and says stuff, but it grates on my nerves, to be honest, to listen to these videos, and it just gives me such an unsettling and dark feeling that I just can't get through a whole 20 minutes of that. So some of these videos, one at least in particular, is tagged publicly with an address, including one on Bleep Avenue. And you can go and look at it if you want to. Y'all already know Lima Yevrimovich, these people's sister, alleged sister, is suing me falsely, frivolously, meritlessly for defamation. So I'm not about to put their address out there, even though one of these twins did put their address out there, which makes me believe she wants us to know exactly where she is living. Ping. Although I would hardly describe that as living. Now remember, this is important because this is the same exact street, as I mentioned earlier, that the news reported Dahlia went missing from. So it does seem as though she is living there, or at least was as of February 2022. Now, I did reach out and comment under one of these videos, and I said, great song. 7 months ago, what's now? I mean, whenever this was, months and months ago, probably close to April, May, something July maybe. And I said, great song. And Dandelion actually replied and said, thank you, exclamation point. So that happened. Now, any of the videos Dandelion currently posts, the comments are now turned off. So we wanted to see what was at this location. She had very publicly tagged and listed, seemingly very intentionally, under her YouTube video. Why did she want this to be public? Those are questions that were running through my mind. Why did she want everyone to know where she was? I can't be certain, I can only speculate, but on Street View, there is a BMW just like incidentally parked right out front of this teeny little shack on Bleep Avenue. I had already seen the inside of the teeny little shack, right? And I already saw the inside was in disarray. So when I saw the outside, it just brought more alarm to me because it's this small little house. It's actually listed at a half street address. It doesn't even have its own address. And well, it does. It's a half address, right? It doesn't have a whole number. And it's a little tiny lot. And there's this red light hanging on the front porch. There's a BMW parked out front. You know, when I looked around the street, there was other very nice cars on the street. Some of the houses are nice, some of them are not. So it's just confusing to me and inconclusive as to what exactly is going on there. I did look into who owns the house, and it has changed hands a few times in the last few years. And most recently, it was owned by someone who is some type of Hollywood director. So do with that information what you will. So all of this is coupled with the previous stories that Lima has told about her sisters, on top of all the hashtags on the twins' social media accounts, which brings me to Dahlia Taquali's new Instagram account. I don't know exactly when this Instagram account was started, but she was posting art to this Instagram account at the same time that she was posting videos to that Dandelion YouTube account. I'm not 100% sure the Dandelion is Dahlia, but because it coincides with this Dahlia Taquali Instagram account, it leads me to believe it's probably the same twin. And in one piece of art in particular on her Instagram account, she, just like her big sister, uses some fairly alarming hashtags. In particular, the ones that stand out are hashtag help me, hashtag human trafficking, and hashtag I was used for science. Now, if you look at the art on the Instagram page, it is every bit as alarming, if not more alarming, than the YouTube videos themselves. There are very dark themes. I don't even know if I could say them on YouTube. Let's just put a compilation here.
Thanks so much.
Ladies?
Thanks so much. Don't you want to be cool?
shouldn't I wash my hands first?
The heat from the oven kills the germs. Go ahead.
Now, cut to later in 2022, Lima is now suing me, meritlessly, which I hope will be dismissed very soon. And I'm making videos trying to bring the Amanda Rabb story to life, and lo and behold, a wild Taquali appears. A Facebook page for one of the twins reveals an updated photo, and it appears that they have shaved her head and dyed her hair blonde. She looks basically unrecognizable from when she used to appear as the Dahlia and Dia twins on YouTube. And a lot of people, when I posted that picture on my Instagram, were very concerned and said, is that even her? Are you sure that's her? Are you sure that's the same person? Because it doesn't even look recognizably like the same person as the bubbly and sort of creative, charismatic person that we saw on red carpets back in 2010. So where is Dia? If that's Dahlia, where is Dia? Is Dia being held in that same house? Is Dia in a conservatorship? Is she being held in a hospital? I don't know. I do have a little bit of a follow-up from the last video. I reached out to that public defender in Orange County who would have represented the one twin who was doing that habeas corpus petition. If you didn't watch the last video, go watch that one. You can get caught up to speed. And it was real shady. The way that they acted at that public defender's office, like I first identified myself as an investigative journalist who's also a lawyer who is looking into a case of conservatorship abuse in the area. And I mentioned being concerned for the twins, safety and health and stuff. And the receptionist person that picked up the phone was basically like, well, ma'am, if you're concerned about, he was so snotty, if you're concerned about someone's health, you need to call the police. I said, I don't have enough evidence to go to the police with. That's why I'm calling you. He was just snottier and snottier. And I finally said, okay, listen, let me talk to your supervisor, please. Let me just talk to one of the lawyers that's actually a lawyer there. All I wanted to do was confirm that they had represented Dahlia or Dia, and I wanted to figure out how I could request to unseal the records. I basically wanted help looking into this case, and I thought that they would want to help me because they are public defenders. They have dedicated their lives to helping people who do not have enough money to hire an attorney, to helping people in situations where they're being abused or hurt, they're being prosecuted by the state unfairly or whatever. No. So I talked to the supervisor. I have his name written down somewhere. If I can find it, I'll put it in the video. If not, it doesn't really even matter because I'm never calling these people again. But he was completely unhelpful. He was not sympathetic, and he basically gaslit me and made me feel like I was a crazy person for request. He's like, well, if you're a lawyer, you should know you can file a subpoena with the court. And I was like, sir, okay, I do know what I can do. I was trying to call you and alert you to something about a client that your office represented. It was just the most unpleasant and disrespectful experience I've had with any lawyer, maybe ever. And it just raises more red flags. It kind of reminded me of the time that we called giving.org, who facilitated Lima's Jibs scholarship that now we ended up finding out was just to pay her own self back for an irresponsible loan that she took out impulsively, but that's neither here nor there. We called the giving.org people. They knew immediately who Lima was. It was like the receptionist knew who Lima was. They were like, who sent you? Who sent you? Who are you calling on behalf of? Everything's above board with her. Yeah, and it was at the very beginning of our investigation. Like, it wasn't no big YouTube videos had been made or anything like that. They knew exactly who she was, and they were like shooked. But it's like, did this public defender know who she was? I would encourage you, especially if you live in the Orange County area, to call that public defender and see if maybe you can get more answers than I did, because it is our right to do so. These are the people that would be representing us if we needed a lawyer and couldn't afford one. So, I mean, this is just, I don't know. It's just, as usual, more questions than answers. Where is Dahlia? Is she still at Bleep Avenue? Where is Dia? I haven't seen her in God knows how long. Who knows the answers to any of these questions? The thing we heard from Lima was the nasty Patty post, and then Destin Dern goes on Facebook and says Lima's gonna be on all kind of podcasts and it's gonna be more serious and professional. She was on one podcast, Adam 22, where she admitted to being SUI*, during the time that she was Amanda Rabb's court-appointed person who's supposed to take care of all her needs and things, talking about she was going to jump off a bridge in Chicago and stuff. And I don't really think we've heard very much from Lima since. Now, she couldn't really help herself. She did reply to a comment recently on her own Instagram account and said, some lies about me. And the thing about lies about me is I don't care because I'm living in the truth. So you can go on the internet and lie about me just like Steve-O does, just like you do. That doesn't bother me. You see who ain't suing somebody for defamation? I don't have to sue anybody for defamation because I have nothing to hide. Until next time, that's all we really have for today. Bye.